The first thing people noticed when she walked into the marble-floored bank was the silence that followed her. A small, dirt-covered girl with tangled hair, wearing a torn shirt and clutching a crumpled passbook, was completely out of place among polished shoes, expensive suits, and the echoing authority of wealth. Most people looked away. A few whispered, but she kept walking, slow and determined, until she stood before the tallest counter. Her voice was soft, almost trembling, but it carried across the cold hall like a plea the world should have listened to long ago. She said she just wanted to see her balance. And that was the moment everything began to change, though no one in that room understood it yet. If you believe small acts of kindness can change the world, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support helps stories like this reach hearts that need them. The millionaire seated at the counter, a man known for his booming laugh and polished arrogance, burst into amusement at the sight of her. His shoulders shook with laughter as he nudged his colleague, mocking the contrast between the girl's state and the imposing luxury around her. The clerk, startled and confused, tried to remain professional while the people around exchanged glances that said more judgment than words ever could. Yet the girl didn't look at any of them. She kept her eyes on the screen, on the machine, on the small hope she carried with both hands. She didn't know their names, their status, or their judgments. She only knew she had walked miles barefoot just to ask this simple question. The clerk hesitated when she handed him the old passbook. It was smudged with dirt and rainwater, and the edges were torn as though it had been held through storms. The millionaire beside him leaned over with a grin, openly amused at the seriousness with which she stood there. But the clerk entered her account number anyway, and as he typed, something in his face changed. The arrogance on the millionaire's lips slowly faded as he noticed the clerk's stunned expression. The clerk typed again. Then again, as though the numbers were playing tricks on his eyes. A hush fell over the surrounding desks as people leaned in, sensing something unusual but uncertain what it was. The millionaire stopped laughing completely. The screen glowed with numbers far beyond anything the girl herself could imagine. It wasn't 100. It wasn't 1,000. It was an amount that would have made even wealthy men straighten in surprise. The clerk's breath caught. The millionaire's jaw tightened, his smirk wiped clean. And the girl, still unaware of the commotion around her, simply asked if she had enough for the medicine her mother needed. Her voice broke then, not dramatically, not loudly, but quietly in the way real pain reveals itself. She explained that she hadn't eaten since morning, that her mother had been sick for weeks, and that someone told her this passbook might still have money from her father. She didn't know how much. She didn't know if it was real. She only came to check because she had nowhere else to go. The hall grew colder as her words settled in the air. People who once looked away now stared at her as though seeing her for the first time. The millionaire felt a heaviness in his chest he hadn't felt in years, a weight that came from recognizing his own cruelty. He remembered the rash anger he once took out on his son, the family he pushed away chasing wealth, the mistakes that money never truly silenced. Her small presence, fragile yet resilient, forced him to confront the emptiness beneath all the polished surfaces in his life. The clerk gently told her the amount quietly, respectfully, but the girl didn't react the way they expected. She didn't scream. She didn't faint. She didn't even smile at first. She simply blinked, the numbers too large for her young mind to hold. Then she asked again, voice trembling, "Is it really mine?" The millionaire swallowed hard when he saw tears finally gather in her eyes, tears no child should ever have to shed for basic survival. She explained how her father used to say that one day he'd leave her something to protect her, something that would help her stand strong in a world that wasn't kind to people like them. She had thought it was only a story, something poor fathers told their children to give them hope. But now, standing in that cold hall, she realized he had kept his promise, even after he was gone. The millionaire felt something crack open inside him. He asked the clerk to print her statement, then he knelt down, leveling himself with her height, not as a man above her, not as someone evaluating her clothes or her dirt-streaked face, but as a human who had forgotten what humanity felt like. He apologized, not for show, not for pride, but because her presence demanded sincerity. He arranged for her to receive new clothes, a driver to take her home, and immediate support for her mother's treatment. But even that felt small compared to the courage she had carried into that hall. In that moment, wealth truly shifted, not from the millionaire to the girl, but from arrogance to humility, from ignorance to compassion. Days later, news spread throughout the city about the little girl who walked into a bank barefoot and walked out with the world she deserved finally within reach. The millionaire visited her home often, not out of guilt, but because helping her reminded him of the man he once hoped to be. She became the turning point he didn't know he needed, proof that generosity wasn't measured in numbers, but in moments when hearts remembered how to open. Her mother recovered. Their life slowly rebuilt itself, not with sudden luxury, but with steady dignity. The girl learned to smile again, not in disbelief, but in quiet confidence that her future was no longer defined by the judgment of strangers. If this story touched your heart or reminded you that compassion still matters, please like, share, and subscribe. Your engagement helps these stories reach more souls who need hope. Before the ending, comment below. Kindness changes everything.